Good morning. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show, where we are having confessions and conversations about your everyday life and finances. Hope everybody is having a marvelous Tuesday. It is Thankful Tuesday. Hope you're doing well. Hope you enjoyed the show yesterday where we talked about just letting go of false solidities, things that may not be true that you've been holding on to that may be holding you back. And as we wait for my fearless co-host to come in, my name is Yamitra Jojo Waddell. I am your Live Past Crazy specialist. I'm the only one in the world, so you can't go wrong with me, right? I hope everybody's having a... Rosie, can I get some water? I hope everybody's having an amazing morning. Ready to get this day started. How did you guys like your Monday? Hope wasn't too rainy for you, because it's been raining here, and I'm ready for some sunshine and some sun, and I'm ready for some warm weather. I think because I was born in the summer, I'm ready for some warm weather. But I thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you sharing the video. We'll get more and more people sharing the video, so I appreciate that. Sharing the video and commenting. I really appreciate that. So you let us know, that you are listening and what we are saying is valuable to you. And this morning, until Wednesday, guys, I'm on a tight deadline. So we are in and out here by 7:45. We're going to give you what you need. That's how we do it. So welcome to Tuesday. See, Charlene, you living it up, girl. Good morning.
We singing this morning.
And how did you get this? I liked it. And a friend of mine I went to middle school with, she was like, don't you remember that was our cheer in 8th grade? I was like, no, I didn't. But now I remember.
Right. Awesome sauce. Good morning, Charlene. Thank you so much for joining us. She said she was at Myrtle Beach yesterday for business. I hope it was nice out in Myrtle Beach. That used to be the hangout back in the day.
Back in the day. Good morning, Uncle Harris.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah, back in the day, that was the hangout. All right, you ready to get started, Miss Lynn?
Yes. Awesome. Good morning, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here for the Fearless Morning Show, where we are giving you hope every day. Help one person every day is our mission. That's our goal. So our quote for today is from the famous Dalai Lama, the infamous Dalai Lama. By going beyond your own problems and taking care of others, you gain inner strength, self-confidence, courage, and a greater sense of calm. No, Clifton didn't. He said, no singing, please, right? Come on.
Now, don't pay my uncle any attention. If you listen, Lynn, it would become the Uncle Harris show. Don't listen.
Okay, all right. I shall not entertain this morning. I shall not entertain him. But you're right, though, Clifton. All right, I'm moving on. So by going beyond your own problems and taking care of others, you gain inner strength, self-confidence, courage, and a greater sense of calm. And that's by the Dalai Lama. And I love this, guys, because like we said, that's our goal. That's our mission, to help one person every day. And JoJo has shared this story on several different occasions. She shared her life story, but she also shares the fact that she keeps things in her trunk when she drives around. And if she sees someone in need, all she has to do is pop her trunk and tell them, hey, guys, get what you need from my trunk to help you through your day. And I know that she's been doing this for some time because she's been sharing the story. But I also know that there was a point in her time when she was also struggling. And in the midst of her struggle, she still helped someone else out. See, guys, that's what we got to learn. That's what we got to catch. Because if you focus on somebody else, there's always somebody else who is doing not as well as you are.
That's
if you take the opportunity to focus on someone else, that's when you get strength, right? That's where that comes from, that you are truly stronger than you think you are when you move
Yes,
forward in
ma'am.
these different situations. So it gives
That's
you a
true.
greater sense of calm, and I'm sure JoJo gets a greater sense of peace knowing that
Yep.
she's helped someone else out. And I thought that that was very fitting for this quote this morning from the Dalai Lama. Good morning,
Well, thank
everyone,
you.
and thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything you would like to add?
No, I was just gonna say thank you. Thank you, Uncle Harris. Good morning, Emily.
Awesome, awesome, guys. Thank you so much for the hearts and the likes too this morning. And please don't forget to share our video. Yes, great. Thank you, Tina, also for chiming in and catching us on time. So we're going to go right on into our financial confession and conversation this morning. I am Lynn Demons, America's #1 financial rebound coach, and this is the Where Do I Begin series. This week we're talking about where do I begin having this financial conversation. So we are, yesterday we talked about where do we begin in our budget. And the thing we asked you to do was to reflect and figure out your why first and understand that this is hard work. Well, today is going to be an even tougher conversation to have because, again, guys, and I know you're probably tired of us saying this over and over, but there are so many areas that we lie to ourselves in, and we've lied to ourselves for so long that we start to believe the lie. And the lie is, I don't even have enough money to save. You're talking about put some money away for the future. What about today? See, there are some things that we can do in our lives, and this is not a conversation for the faint of heart, right? And if you mad, you just mad, but there's some truth.
Big mad.
Right? There's some truth behind what I'm going to share with you this morning. It might cut some of y'all deep, and some of y'all be like, what, girl, you crazy. I'm not doing that. But this conversation is not for the person who know they needs to save, right? Everybody knows they need to save. This conversation is not for the person who wants to save. Yeah, that's good. You want to save. But the conversation today is for that person who's committed to saving. Okay, so you got to be committed. You got to bring some things to the table. So I need you to pay attention this morning as if you paid $1,000 to be here on this video to get this information, right? Because I'm about to share some things with you that are going to challenge you in your finances. They're going to challenge you. And I hope that you take these things, guys, and take action, because you always ask, where do I begin? But we don't do the work, right? That's put in front of us. So the #1 thing that I want to say, you got to kickstart it off. And how do you kickstart it? Let me tell you a story, right? The story is simply this, guys. There was a situation in our finances. We lived in South Florida. We lived in Broward County in Coral Springs, Florida. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that area, but it's not too far from Fort Lauderdale. All right. And in comparison to where we lived when I grew up in South Carolina, it was so much more expensive to live in South Florida. Okay, I'm just going to be completely real. And my husband and I found ourselves in a situation, guys, where if we didn't do something different, we would start losing stuff, start losing our house, start losing, all of these different things. And one of the things that we had to do, and I love my husband dearly for doing this, guys, but he had to sell his motorcycle, right? So that we could bring in enough money to be able to stay afloat. And if you knew my husband, you know he loved his Suzuki TL1000, right? Because he did everything to get that motorcycle. But it was a time in our lives, guys, where we had to make a decision. How are we going to right now get this money in so that we can do what we need to do? Not only did he have to sell his motorcycle, guys, and I don't know if y'all know my husband, but he loves to also work on cars. He's going to kill me telling all his business today on the scope, but on this video. But he loved to fix up cars, and he had a Honda Civic, guys. And when I tell you, he changed everything on that car, that it was unrecognizable, that he fixed it up and he put everything on it. But when we hit a situation, guys, where we needed to figure out and how to do something differently, how to get some money in. When I tell you he had to sell his baby, that was his,
He
that
loved
specific
that
thing.
car. You hear me? I couldn't even
That
touch
was
it. You couldn't get close to
right.
it either. You could not touch it.
Right, right. I mean, he did everything that you could possibly do to a car, you know, at that time, because that was the thing to do, right? That was the thing to do. But guys, he did the tough thing for us and our family. And those are just two examples. There are different things that we had to do just to kickstart our savings. One, we had to kickstart because we needed the money. Two, we needed to kickstart also because we needed to do things differently. We needed to begin saving. We wanted to start investing. And there were so many different things that we had on our plate, and we had to figure this thing out. So what I'm going to say to you, how do you begin investing? If you want a true kickstart, if you want to truly kickstart this saving thing off, I challenge you today to walk around your house. Walk around your house and see if there's anything that you have sitting there that you are not using that you can definitely sell. Because you know what? We hear this all the time. One man's junk is another man's treasure, right? And if you're truly serious, if you're truly committed to figuring this thing out and kickstarting your savings, you'll go through your house, you'll go through your garage, you'll go through your closets. And when I did this, guys, I went in my closet, I found things that still had tags on, that I had never worn before. And it wasn't just my closet, it was my husband's closet, it was in my son's closet. There are things that were in there that still had the tags on them, guys, that we had never even worn. So we took the opportunity to now get these things together. You're like, oh, Lord, Leah, I'm not about to do this. But for those who are committed and you really and truly want to kickstart your savings, you can sell those things. If you want to do a yard sale the old school way, that's all good and fine. You get to keep all of the money if you do a yard sale, but there are also online opportunities. eBay, Craigslist, different Posh, yes, yes. So there are different opportunities, guys, for you to now sell those things that are sitting around your house, right? That are gently used, or you're not using at all, or you never used, right? Because we all have too much stuff. If we're real about it, if we stop lying to ourselves, we've purchased too much stuff because consumerism has been our greatest enemy in our finances, and we haven't even recognized it.
Yep.
The number one enemy of our finances has been this thought of consumerism, is the idea of keeping up with the Joneses, whether you recognize it or not. But because we always gotta look the part, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's time out for that foolishness. That's the point I need to get across, guys. It's time out for the foolishness, whether you believe that or not. So the kickstart your savings, that's the number one thing that I would say. I challenge you to go through your home. And if you've done that, that's all good and fine, but you need to make sure that you can take whatever monies you get from that, put some of that into a savings account, and then you decide, well, I need to pay some bills. But what you have to do, guys, is just make it a priority. Find ways. And speaking of your bills, another way you can start saving money. When was the last time you called the insurance company to request a lower rate? When was the last time you called the cable company to say, hey, I'm going with somebody else? What can you do for me? Right? Or I'm cutting you off completely. I'm going with Netflix and Hulu. I got myself on lock, right? Oh, Lord, Miss Emily, please do not sell the base. You will be in so much trouble. You hear me? You cannot sell the base. You find something else in your house. Please do not sell Pastor's base. All right? There will be some consequences and repercussions if you do that. You got to find something that I suggest you go to your closet first. Stay out of Pastor's for right now, all right? So when looking at this, the other thing, guys, we talk about consumerism being our number one, our greatest enemy. the thing that I want to suggest or recommend to you, and somebody might get mad at me, but what I suggest is that we start buying things that are pre-loved or gently used. What do I mean by that? I mean,
Oh, get off
a
my
good
toe, will you
pair.
please? Get off my foot, because I am queen of that.
Right, girl. Don't
What?
sleep on the thrift shops. Don't sleep on the consignment shops. Don't sleep on those opportunities to get those gently used items as opposed to going in and buying things retail. And keep in mind, guys, this is only a temporary situation. See, we're doing things differently temporarily, right? Until we get our feet back underneath us. See, that's the whole positioning here. And then what you will find though, is once you start doing these things, even when you get to the point where you start to amass money, right? You will find that you will continue to do that because you don't want to go back to the situation that you were previously in. So these are not things, right, that you're doing that are going to be detrimental to your health or things that you're only doing. Some of these things you will do temporarily, but once you get into the habit of doing these things, you'll continue to do it consistently. And Charlene says she is the queen of thrift shops. Yes, Stacy Oliver, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us as well. So guys, where do you begin with saving? The first thing, you got to kickstart it. Kickstart it by going through your home and identifying those items that you are no longer using that you can get rid of. And for those of you who are just now joining, I'm Lynn Demis, a financial rebound coach, and we're talking about where do you begin saving, right? And this conversation is not for those who need to save. It's not for those who want to save. This is a conversation for those who are committed to saving, right? If you're committed, then you're in the right place. If you're not committed, stay with us. Hopefully you'll join in with this mindset if we keep sharing it with you enough that you'll come on board with the things that we're doing. The other thing that I need to share with y'all, and this is one of the areas that I was challenged in. You know how you have those friends, those sisters who will call you up and say, girl, let's go to the mall, right? Macy's is having their one-day sale. And by the way, why does Macy's one-day sale last the whole week or the whole month? It seems like, right?
Because it's every day.
Right. It seems like Macy's has that one-day sale every day. But they'll call you up and they say, hey, girl, let's go out to the mall. Macy's is having the sale. And what do? You co-sign on that mess and you go in there with them and you get in that environment and y'all just start buying stuff up. So one of the things that I had to do, y'all, is cut myself off from that sister circle. Right? I had to cut myself off from those girlfriends who love to go on those shopping excursions. And I'm telling you, my girls were all the way serious, y'all. They would, oh Lord, see, you didn't have to call anybody out, right? Miss Emily, you didn't have to call anybody out. But guys, you have to, and they were all the way serious. Some of them, y'all, they even booked trips. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with a girls' trip. There's nothing wrong with doing this thing every now and then. But it's some of us in our sister circle who will go and they will shop every time that the store opens. If you let it.
That's right.
See, you got to back away from some of those. See, guys, we're talking to the people who are committed to this process. This is where you begin, right? This is where you begin as far as your savings are concerned. So we got to stop lying to ourselves because we can find money for everything else that we want to do, everything else that we choose to do. And don't, it's okay to cry about it for a little bit, but don't cry too long because this is only going to be a temporary situation.
There you go.
Once you get to the point of where you now start saving and you start investing and we're now making our money, keeping our money and growing our money, see, now we're setting ourselves up in a completely different way. And that's the whole purpose. That's the goal. We're laying the foundation now, y'all, because it's about building generational wealth. And how do we learn to build generational wealth that accept that we do things differently? So
That's
I
right.
need you to take these things to heart. And as I say, this is not for those who want to save. This is not a conversation for those who need to save. This conversation is for those who are committed to saving.
That's
you
right.
must be committed. Why? It
Mhm.
must be a priority, or else you will not do it. But I guarantee you, you'll do it if it's something that you truly wanted. I guarantee you, if something happened to your child, you'll find the money. I guarantee you, if something happens to your car, you'll find the money. What about for your future? What about for your family? What about your legacy? What are we doing about that?
Mhm.
See, that's the thing that we now need to start thinking about. So what are the goals that you should be reaching for as far as saving? And typically what I would say is you save as much as you can possibly save right now, and you go wholeheartedly into that process.
Mhm.
But if you want numbers, because I know some people like percentages. How am I doing on time, JoJo? I don't want to go over.
Yeah, hurry up, because we at 7:36. So we got to be done by 7:45.
Okay. Let me just tell them this really quickly, and I'm going to cut it off. Guys, if you really need some numbers, these are the goals that you should shoot for as far as your saving. If you want to know a percentage, and I've shared these before, but I recommend that you save the absolute maximum that you possibly can. But if you need a goal, if you need a number, a certain percentage that's recommended, if you're making up to $50,000, it's recommended that you save 10% of that. All right. If you're making $50,000 to $200,000, guys, the recommended is 15%. If you're making $200,000 to $500,000, it's recommended at 25% savings. And if you're making $500,000 to $2 million, it's recommended that you make 35% or more. And you may be saying, Lynn, wow, why did you go all the way to 2 million? What are you doing? Why are you going there? Don't you hope to be there one day? I'm preparing you so you know what's next, right?
That's right.
I'm preparing you so you know what's next, because once you get on this journey, you start making your money, keeping your money, and growing your money. You got to figure out exactly how do you do now? What are the things? What are the rules? How do I continue to grow within this mindset, within this trend, within this pattern? How do I continue to stay within the philosophy of making my money, keeping my money, and growing my money? See, guys, there's so much that I want to tell you, but I got to go because it's time for Miss JoJo to come on, and she got to get out by 7:45. So today, if you'll go over to bit.ly/DE-save, I think that's right, DE save or DE savings. Oh, gee, I
I
should have
think
looked
that's,
it up.
I'll look. I think that's
I
right.
apologize, guys. I so apologize.
I'll look.
But if you'll
I think
go
it's,
over, it's going to take you back to the toolkit. But inside of this toolkit, you also have a savings metric or savings spreadsheet that's going to help you. All right. bit.ly/DE savings. I think it's the correct one. Thank you so much.
with an S. It's not coming up with an S or just by itself.
Okay, I'll get that for everyone, and I'll post it. I do apologize, and I hate that because I hate when other people do that, and I hate it with a passion. And now I've done it. See, that's that self-reflection thing, right? When we hate on something, it's because we're afraid that we'll fail at that same thing. Essentially, at least that's true for me, right?
Yeah.
And it may be true for you if you recognize that, if you reflect on it. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. And if you didn't get the budget toolkit on yesterday, we can share that one. bit.ly/DE budget so that you can get the budget toolkits as well. All right, Miss JoJo, I'm passing it off to you. I hope I didn't talk too much this morning.
That's all right. We only got one more day, Lena, going to 7:45, and then you're free.
Okay. Sounds
That
good.
is it. All right, guys. Thank you for joining. Lynn, I think I posted it, but I don't know why it's not showing the link. Thank you guys for joining the Fearless Morning Show. So yesterday we talked about letting go of false solids, like, and what that was, things you've been holding on to that may not necessarily be true. So today I got a question for you, and it kind of ties in to what Lynn was talking about and her quote. But why do you think you don't deserve what you're asking for? Why do you think you don't deserve it? Why is that? That's a good kind of question to think about. Why is it that you think you don't deserve what you're asking for? And so here's my confession and conversation for today. Here is, so I'm going to talk about it from my perspective, and maybe you can see yourself in it. Being in an abusive relationship, one of the things is, of course, is mental, emotional, physical. But the mental thing, and you may be free, and you may no longer be in the situation, but that doesn't mean the tape recorder stops playing. So you're doing everything, you're doing great. And as soon as you start on this journey to do something different, you find yourself stuck. And you're like, why can't I get past this? Why can't I achieve this one thing? I know I want to do it. I know I can do it, but why am I not doing it? Because in your subconscious mind, in my mind, you still hear, Jojo, you're stupid. Jojo, you're nobody. You're never going to be anybody. You're not smart. You're dumb. Who do you think you are? You can't do this. And your subconscious mind is playing that tape for you because your mind brings back remembrance. Because when you do something new, remember, your brain wants to keep you safe. And as long as you can keep doing the same thing, your brain says, hey, we're okay. But the minute you step out to do something different, it's going to remind you of the scary things that you thought you couldn't do before and how it may or may not have worked out. So your brain will remind you, do you really want to do that? You know we're scared of this new thing. Now, why would you do that? Do you remember this? And your brain will play it back for you. And so part of that is, of course, you have, even when I say you have to speak that thing in those daily mantras, you have to keep saying those over and over. You have to repeat those to you, because if you don't, what you'll find is, even though you may say you're free, your behavior and your life says you're still stuck there. So I may say, oh, I'm fearless and I can do this and I can do things, but is my action matching my words?
Right.
So can you live past crazy in your finances? Girl, I got my finances together, but is your behavior saying that? Is your life matching what you're saying? So those daily, and that's where those motivational, those daily mantras come in. You have got to do it. And so the secret to getting past this is to take action. That's the only way past this. So you may think you don't deserve it, and you may be having your pity party, and you may be feeling some type of way. The only surefire, guaranteed way to get past your pity party, that tape that you have playing in the back of your mind, get past that stuckness, is to take action. You cannot do it sitting down, my friend, at all. Faith is an action verb. And here's my thing. People say, I've been praying, but have you been acting? When you pray, you got to get off your knees, get off your butt, and do some work. There's no way around it. So you've got to take the action. And then when you take the action, guess what happens? You are replacing your behavior now. So now your brain is matching your words to your behavior. It's like, oh, we got this. But until you match the two, it won't happen. Yes, there you go, Charlene. That's right. And here it is. It's a learned behavior. It's a learned behavior from your parents, from your family members, from your abuser. It's a learned behavior. So when you get into that situation, you go right back to what you know and you sprout it out, because they have taught you to say it. Girl, you stupid. That boy bad. He ain't nobody. He ain't. And how many times have you said that to your kids or to your nieces and your nephews, and then they acted out? Their words, their behavior matched the words that you gave them. They're learning that. So it is an absolutely learned behavior. So when you get to this point where you think you don't deserve it, you don't want it, you need to know you can live past crazy. Yes, it's all in knowing your worth. And then even in knowing your worth, Charlene, some days you have those days where you're like, who the heck am I to be doing this? Who am I to be calculating this money, to be doing any of this? So that's when you got to take action past it. Because right here, this is the place where the battles are won. This is where you overcome your procrastination, your self-doubt, whatever other problems you're holding on to, this is where it is, and it's going to require action. You may be a little scared. It may be not need moving, but honey, you have got to move. And here's the thing. This is where Lynn and I come in. You cannot have self-improvement, or you cannot improve in self-isolation. Meaning you can't, when I was going through this in the beginning, yes, I was alone, but eventually I had to build a support group. So it's hard to do it in self-isolation. You want to know why? Because you are your own worst enemy sometimes. And that tape will stop playing itself back. And then next thing you know, you're in a full-blown pity party. And the next thing you know, you convinced that you don't deserve it. And then the next thing you know, you're right back with the same people, same friends, having the same conversation every day. So it's a learned behavior. It's going to take you a minute to break that cycle and to stop self-sabotaging yourself. So that's what you have Lynn and I here for every day, Monday through Fridays at 7:15 in the morning. We are your group to help motivate you, inspire you, and most importantly, educate you so that you can take those actions and you don't have to worry. Like Lynn, her series this week is Where Do I Begin? This is where you begin. This is where you start, so that you know these are my next steps that you have to take. So if you're thinking you don't deserve it, why don't you deserve it? So that's your question. But Thankful Tuesday, what's today? Take Action Tuesday. Today is Take Action Tuesday. I'm around millionaires. Right, Charlene? That's right. And what you'll find is the more you're around like-minded people, the more inspired and the more action you can take on your own. So just be mindful of that. If you're around, what's the thing, Lynn? If you're around 4 broke people, you're about to be the 5th.
You are the 5th. Sorry.
You are the 5th. Is all I'm saying. All right, guys. Well, that's it for the Fearless Morning Show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please remember to share the video if you know somebody that needs this information. Check out Lynn's budget toolkit. We post that, and Lynn will go back in and post the other link for her information soon. Of course, if you want to join the Be Fearless journey, you can. So you can keep up with everything that we have going on, as well as if somebody does not have Facebook, we have a YouTube channel. So you guys make sure you share that to them and share the information. So now that you know, it is up to you to go out and share that information with somebody else. All right, guys, anything else, Lynn, before we close?
No, that's it, guys. We'll see you tomorrow for Where Do You Begin with Your Mindset. So any questions, your comments, or concerns you have, please shoot them over to us so that we can make sure we are answering the things that you need answered or that you want answered, the things that you're committed to doing. Just thank you. Thank you so much for joining us.
That's right. I was going to type that. There goes Charlene with the thank ya.
Oh, yes, Lord.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great day. She is not going to give you an L on that at all. All right, guys. Have a great day. We'll see you here bright and early in the morning. Have a good one.
Signing off.